Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special edition of the No ID Vibes. I told you guys I was coming with some shockers. I'm doing something a little bit different. I have here female professional wrestler, two-time BTW World Women's Champion, WWW Women's Champion. She's known as the Strange Deranged, the Weapons of Ass Destruction, Dementia D Rose, Woad. Say hello to the people.
Hi, how you doing? It's just the woad now.
It's just the Woad now?
It's just the woad. It's the one-eyed, thick-thighed weapon of ass destruction, the woad.
Gotcha. Let's get it. So what made you become a professional wrestler? Like, what made you get into wrestling?
Well, I've been watching wrestling ever since I was like 3 or 4, and I have a large family. I come from a family of 17 brothers and sisters, so wrestling was always a part of my childhood. And I've been in love with it ever since. And I believe it was at the age of 15. I told my parents straight up. I told them, I said I wanted to be a wrestler. I want to be a wrestler. And of course, they laughed it off as if it was a phase. But I don't know. I guess the more I feel, the more people doubted me, the more I wanted to do it. The more it pushed me. Like, it's crazy to say in a weird way. Like, my parents not supporting me was, like, in a way, the biggest support I could ever get, because it kept pushing me.
It's like when somebody tells you no, you can't do it, or no, it's not something for you. It just pushes you even more. It's like your fuel. You know what I mean? And I mean, you kick ass. I'm not even gonna lie.
Exactly.
You kick. If you guys have not checked out a match,
Thank you.
Google it. Google it, YouTube, do something. Check out her page about all she's kicking ass. And this is not like typical. This is literally ground for pound. This is like storytelling. Like, you can tell she's a brawler. If I was in a
Thank you.
fight, I will call you first.
Thank you so much. I just want people to think, oh, instead of just thinking, oh, that girl got a big booty, I want them to think, oh, she is about to knock somebody the heck out. Like, somebody is about to get hurt. Somebody is about to get a concussion. Somebody is about to see some stars, because she's gonna use them Buns of Steel and knock them out.
Definitely. Hey, I saw the hashtag. I saw the ass, and I was like, oh my god. So she's a beauty. But I mean, keep it professional. I was like, let me go ahead and see if I can get on the pod. You know what I mean? So, so like, your inspiration. What's your inspiration every day to get into the ring every day and wrestle? What's like your motivation?
This the fact that a lot of people don't know that I'm actually half blind. That's why I call myself the one-eyed, thick-thigh. A couple of years ago in 2018, I got my vision corrected in the only eye that I could see out of, because I had a very, very, very bad cataract in that eye. And I've been wrestling for over 10 years. So almost 8 years of my career, I've been literally wrestling blind. A lot of people just didn't know that. And in 2018, I had corrective surgery. And in 2019, I got my left eye actually removed because it was causing pain, because I couldn't see out of this eye. I've been blind in this eye since I was 7. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Let's just let's just get rid of it. And I'll never forget, I was wearing an eye patch during training when I was healing, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, this actually works. This is cool. I feel it's a great conversation starter. It's a great way to stand out. And I tell people, the only thing that's fake about me is my glass eye. Plus, I'm the only half blind female wrestler in this business. So, I'm making history. So I gotta set the standard high.
Definitely, that's dope. So you
Thank
set
you.
the standard high. What is the next? What is the vision for you see yourself as far as the industry? Do you plan on staying on the circuit that you're on now? Do you plan on signing like a major promotion like a WWE or a TNA
Oh,
or
definitely. I tell people, I say, yo, whatever company wants to make history by having the first half blind female wrestler on their roster ever, you know, they can contact me. They know where to find me. Um, you know, global, worldwide. I want to be a household name. I want to leave a print, not just in the wrestling business, but in the entertainment business, unlike anybody has ever done before. Because no female like me has ever done that before. You don't see a half blind female wrestler, you know, and I'm the first of hopefully many. I want to inspire a lot of people like me, not just being black, not just being curvy, you know, people with vision problems, people, you know, that have been told their whole life they can't do this because they may not be complete in one, you know, in one of their senses. And my father, he was blind since the age of 3. He always told me, just because you're blind doesn't mean that you're stupid.
I totally agree with that. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't kick ass. You have been kicking ass for a minute, man, and that's
with my ass.
literally, literally. I've seen the matches. I don't know who it was, but I saw the ass get brung out a couple of times. So,
I mean, like I tell people, it's the Buns of steel. It's the guns and the buns. You know, there's nothing fake about it. I know I got a large derriere, but you know what else I can do with this derriere? I can knock your head off with this derriere. Like I can cause some serious pain. So yeah, you know, I tell people, yeah, you know, people are gonna talk about my butt anyway. They're gonna look at it. Might as well give them something to talk about.
definitely. And you know, I was like earlier when we was talking before I hit the record. Um, I follow. I'm starting to get more into. Well, I've always been a wrestling fan, but I wanted to get more in black wrestlers, especially black female wrestlers, and that's why I reached out to you because usually in that industry, you see. Well, I mean, the only ones that I remember was like Jacqueline and Jazz, um, Awesome Kong, and that's the ones that I seen. Like Awesome Kong kind of broke down that barrier of seeing, you know, the tight tight
Yeah,
body. Yeah, like you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like the
yeah.
fit, she
The
broke down that
curvy, the
barrier.
big girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not ashamed to tell people, yeah, I'm a big girl. Yeah, I used to watch Awesome Kong. Definitely. Definitely. She looked like me. Her, Jazz, Jacqueline, they all look like me. They all made me continue to dream that, hey, if these women can do this, I can do this too. And I'm proud of that. And I want to honor them for that. And they should be honored for that because they really broke down barriers. I mean, you know, wrestling today, it still has a lot of work to do. It's definitely progressing. Definitely. I'm grateful to see so many people of color getting more opportunities. But you know, we still got some ways to go. It definitely got some ways to go. So imagine what they had to go through back in those times when they barely had a voice. And we should honor that. We should be grateful that they went through that so we don't have to. You know, their voice, their strength, you know, they kept pushing. Now I can live my dream. Now this other girl can live her dream.
And that's true. They didn't have that much of a voice. And then even back then, it was more like the bra and panties matches.
Exactly.
And what's the? I know I saw a couple of one. They was wrestling in chocolate. I'm like, all right. You know, as a youngster, I was all into it, maybe because of puberty. But then when I got older, I'm like, all right, where is the art? You feel me? Like the
Yeah.
storytelling, and that's what led me more towards looking up outside of those big promotions and checking out more wrestlers out there because everybody has a dream. So, I mean, you are the future of women's wrestling, in my opinion. What you're doing is inspirational. Were you more of a just for the sake of when the Monday Night Wars? We were just talking about Raw because you always got to be a fan of something that you in, right? Were you more like
Oh yes.
WCW or were you more like WWF, like Attitude Era, more like ECW? Or
Honestly, well, my dad used to take my brothers, because you know WCW was right down in Atlanta in the Omni. So he used to take my brothers down there to go watch it. So we used to watch WCW, we watched WWF, we watched it all. I personally, I love WWF, Stone Cold, The Rock, of course, Rikishi. He was one of the first to inspire me to actually use my body as a weapon. So like I'm grateful for that. But yes, like I watched all of it. I always loved wrestling. It didn't matter what it was. I loved wrestling. So
it's, if you're not a wrestling fan, you should be. It's definitely something. What do you say to the critics that say wrestling is fake?
Get in the ring with me. And I tell people, like I even do this thing called the Buns and Steel Challenge, where people that some people the critics they speak of my rear end, they say, oh, it's not real, or you can't, there's that doesn't look realistic, and I'm like, oh, really? It doesn't? Okay. So I have this challenge called the Buns of Steel Challenge, where I allow any male or female wrestler to take a steel chair and hit my backside as hard as they physically can to see if they could hurt it. And so far, I'm still undefeated. And I tell, whenever someone asks me, how is that? How can you make your butt a real thing? I tell them, if it can dent steel, imagine what it can do to a human skull.
Yeah, that's true. And they shouldn't even judge you because I'm not gonna say his name, but it was a wrestler that was using his penis as a wrestler. What was his name? Nah, I said I wasn't. Joy Ryan. It was using to twist his dick, and I was like, oh man, I was just watching it on Major League Wrestling. But it was, man, what's your record as far as this Buns of Steel thing?
Yeah, I'm undefeated.
See, like 100 and.
Like, I'm sorry.
Are you like 100 and 0, or like where are you? Honestly,
I can't really say. So many wrestlers have tried it, but I posted it on my social media. So yeah, but right now, yeah, I'm definitely undefeated. No one has yet to hurt the Buns of Steel.
No one has to hurt the Buns of Steel?
Not yet. I tell people, the only thing that's fake on me is my glass eye.
Yeah, that's it. Because you are pretty real, man. It's like, who was like your biggest rivalry that you've ever had to come into a counter with, as far as in the ring?
Honestly, not trying to sound cliche. I would have to say myself. And I say that because of everything that I endured. Just with this, being able to see clearly for the first time and stop trying to prove myself to promoters or bookers that I'm great. I've learned that I've already proven all the doubters. I've already, whatever someone may think that I can or can't do because of this, I already proved them wrong because I've even known about it. So yeah, I guess I can say that, I've been my biggest opponent, and every day I try to be better than what I was last time.
I can definitely dig that. I can definitely do that. What is some of your what would you say to somebody that's actually trying to break into the industry, male or female? Like, what would be the advice that you give them?
Always believe in yourself. And it's crazy because I feel that this well, for me, my career has literally come full circle. And the reason I say that is because I was always not ashamed, but I was and I wouldn't even say ashamed or insecure, but I was just always hesitant about speaking with people because I felt that, they would notice this or how I look, and they would ask questions about it. But it got to a moment that I told myself I have to accept that this is who I am. And once I accepted myself for who I was, once I accepted all my flaws, once I accepted, I literally have my kryptonite on my face every time I step in the ring. And once I accepted everything about myself, everything just began to flow. It seemed to connect. And like I said, becoming the Woad, becoming the one-eyed thick thigh, it was my final evolutionary stage of who I was meant to be in this wrestling business. But I had to accept. I had to accept my weaknesses, my flaws, everything. So yeah, I would just tell an up-and-comer or anyone that steps into the ring that wants to be in this business, believe in yourself. Accept yourself for whether you're short, you're tall, you're skinny, you're fat. Just accept yourself for who you are, because this business sure as hell won't love you unless you love you.
Damn, I could just end it off on that one. That was that was actually pretty. You're right. We got to accept ourselves no matter what, especially in anything that we do in life, especially in the industry that I'm in now, being a comedian. But then again, we make fun of our own flaws on the stage anyway.
Exactly. Like, I make fun of myself. Like, I'll ask a friend to put on my eyelashes for me, and I go, "Oh, wait, my eyelash." Because you only got one eyelash, because so it's like, if you can't make fun of yourself, how can you handle it when thousands of other people are trying to make fun of you? And everyone knows that the internet takes no mercy on anyone. So it's like, you just gotta have thick skin. You gotta be able to laugh at yourself.
That's what it's about, though. Like that's just life. You just gotta laugh at. This is if everybody was the same, I think the world would be boring. Everybody has a story to tell, and that's why I reached out to you. Everybody has a story, everybody has a journey, everybody has some kind of obstacle. But as long as you're having fun, if you accept it, excuse my language, fuck it.
Exactly. Like, there's nobody out there like you. There's only one you. You may have a twin. You may have somebody that looks exactly like you. Trust me, I do. You should see my siblings. We look like a copy and paste. But there's only one you. And it's like, if this is truly your dream, you got to take the good with the bad. And that's what I told myself. I said, hey, you can either quit and feel sorry for yourself and sit down and cry and put, oh, woe is me, or you can take the good with the bad with the ugly and be fucking great and show them, hey, this one-eyed thick-thighed girl can do it better than anybody ever said that she could.
And you are doing it better. I'm not kissing your ass, but you are doing it better than a lot of people. You are.
Thank you.
I would love to see you like I would love to see you. You know how they had China win the Intercontinental Championship and they had Jacqueline, she won the Cruiserweight. I would love to see not just a woman, but a black woman win that coveted title. You know what I'm saying? Like the World Heavyweight Championship. I think there'll be some. I think you would definitely fit that. Like, I can see you being like, I don't know, WWE Universal Champion or World Heavyweight. I can definitely see that, and that would be like a dope thing. Is that something that you ever thought about? Like outside this?
It's a different time, of course. Times are changing. Anything is possible. Like, who knows? I think, who knows? WWE may have intergender wrestling soon. They just had a intergender match this past Monday. So, like, times are changing, and just you can either adapt and go along with it, or you'll get left behind.
That's what it's about evolving. So I'm gonna ask you this. Before we sign off, because I'd like to keep the interview short, just because of the listener's attention span. Your top 5 wrestlers in any order.
Okay. Can I add me to the list or no?
Yeah. You're supposed to.
Okay. All right. Well, definitely me. I would say Jazz. Definitely Jacqueline. Awesome Kong. And I would have to say Rikishi. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine's, for the listeners out there, Ric Flair, Sabu, Gail Kim, AJ Styles, Shane. Well, I could say Shane or Derek. I'm gonna go ahead and put you up there as in my top 5. And coming off my bench will be Shane Taylor. But you're in my top 5. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
Oh, wait, me? I'm in the top 5?
You're in the top 5.
Me?
You.
Oh, wow, really? Oh.
You in my top 5.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
But I'm not blowing smoke. Like you're in my top 5. I was watching matches and I was showing them to my coworkers a little bit older, and I was like, "Yo, you got this wrestler up here. She calls herself The Woad." And then I'm like showing them your Instagram page. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yo, you got to see this. You got to see this. You have to see it." And I'm telling my mom, telling my homeboy, I'm like, "Yo, you got to see this." He's like, "Man, what are you talking about?" I said, "Bro, you got to see this shit. Go on your Instagram page and everything." He was like, "Man, what's going on?" I was like, "Bro, I'm telling you, you got to see this week because I know we have to support more black wrestlers. That's not, that's finally starting to make stride. We have to start supporting black wrestlers, not just black wrestlers, but black female wrestlers such as yourself. We have to start pushing them. We need to see change and representation, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera as well. Too, we have to see more representation. I think that's where it's gonna have to start, especially for the little black girls out there that's watching the Woad, that grew up just like you when the Jacquelines and the Awesome Kongs and the Jazz. And shout out to her. I tried to get her on the podcast. I haven't heard anything back, but I know she was going through a retirement tour, but she was kicking ass for a minute.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
She was. If anybody wants to follow you or see any of your matches, how do they?
I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Just type in the search bar The Woad. You can also, if you want to buy my merch, this is the new shirt, right? It's on Fully Gimmick at fullygimmick.com. I'm also on prowrestlingtees.com/The Woad. And if you want to buy a face mask, because we got to wear our face mask, you can go to luchaware.art. It's LUCHAWEAR.ART. And yeah, I'm very interactive with my fans because I love being interactive with my fans. I love talking with them. Like the support is just, it's just incredible, and I'm really am grateful for it. And so yeah, if you guys want to talk to me, shoot me a message, please feel free. Like a lot of people are kind of hesitant towards me with this, and I always tell them, I have no problem with anybody asking me about this. Nothing whatsoever. I feel it's a great conversation starter. So, please don't be hesitant. Don't pity me. Don't feel sorry for me. If you got a question about it, feel free to ask.
Exactly. And you guys can follow me at Rome Davis 89. Follow the podcast at No ID Vibes on everything. I appreciate you doing this interview because I'm going to keep it honest with you. I don't want to make this awkward, but it was either ask you to be on the podcast or try and shoot my shot. And it was either one or the other. And I was like, let me just see. I'm going to get the podcast first and maybe slide back into the DMs after the podcast comes out. So that way it's already published and she can't say, oh, no, say that. Don't put that out there. No. This is season 4 of this. And she's part of my amazing lineup that I have. You are the first female wrestler, black female wrestler that I've had up here. I appreciate it. You are the 4th black wrestler I've had up here, and I'm going to continue supporting. I follow already on Instagram. I'm keep it honest with any of my followers. I don't really know how to work Twitter that well. I just got it, but please support her. Like a status, share, repost, tweet, comment, subscribe, cop her merchandise. Don't be afraid to shoot exactly. Don't be afraid to shoot a DM. She is very responsive. She actually replied back to me like that. And I know you just came back from a trip, right? You was in Florida, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was in Florida.
See, and she was out there kicking ass probably out in Florida, and she's right back here doing the interview with me. So I'm blessed to have it. We're gonna go ahead and sign off. I do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good one. All right.
You too.